Hello everyone, it's Seed here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about the K-pop group NCT and their members Lucas and Taeil. Recently, a member of NCT Taeil has been kicked out of his group after some allegations of him sexually assaulting somebody was released on the 28th of August, and that brings back the topic of Lucas, a member who was also kicked out of both his group, however stayed under the company as a solo artist after being accused of sexual assault. I want to talk about the differences between those two members and why one of them stayed while the other person was kicked out. Although I want to emphasize just how different those cases are, I would also be raising some issues with the relationship South Korea has with its women and girls. Starting with Lucas, back in 2021, multiple allegations surfaced against him, including cheating, manipulation, and gaslighting. These accusations were mostly based on unverified claims. We're talking about photoshopped images and anonymous threads. Most of these claims were later questioned for their authenticity, while including the fact that there were no solid evidence, no police reports, no legal actions, and mostly left to public opinion. Many of those allegations against Lucas were the fact that he coerced people into having intercourse with him, and he manipulated his girlfriends into purchasing things for him or forced them to do things that they did not agree with. He was also accused of being involved with multiple women at the same time. None of these cases ever went to the cops. It never got him into any legal problems. His case, although serious, is all about public perception, and his career was ruined, his reputation was ruined, but like I said before, it was never escalated into any legal troubles or criminal investigation. The public outcry was significant enough to push Lucas into taking a hiatus. In 2023, SM Entertainment, his agency, announced that Lucas would officially be leaving NCT and wayv, but he was going to remain under the SM management as a solo artist. In the midst of the controversy, Lucas had issued an apology, acknowledging his mistakes and expressing deep remorse. His apology was shown, in my opinion, as Lucas taking responsibility for the things he was accused of and the pain and harm he caused those women that accused him. I would like to stress again that it is important to note that there's no criminal charges or legal actions that were pursued against him. If you want to see his apology, you could pause. It's going to be on the screen. Taeil's situation is a whole different story, and it was more severe. Recently, Taeil was accused of criminal sexual offense, and unlike Lucas's case, there's a lot of concrete evidence. We're talking about 6 years worth of recording, messages, and official police reports. These aren't just rumors, they aren't just inappropriate behaviors, these are serious sexual offenses that could lead to jail time. He allegedly put a camera on a victim's phone and was able to watch everything she did and had around-the-clock access to her. When she tried to end what was going on, he threatened her and to harm her mom, who was hospitalized. The assault happened over 6 years, and yes, this is after he had already debuted as an idol under SM Entertainment and was 24 years old. The police are actively investigating, and Taeil is cooperating with authorities. SM has issued a statement acknowledging the severity of the situation. You could pause to read the statement. It's going to be on the screen. According to another official statement from SM Entertainment, they first became aware of the allegations in mid-August, and by the 28th of August, Taeil was already under police investigation. The police in Seoul first received a report from the victim, who claimed that Taeil sexually assaulted her this past June 13th. Since then, Taeil has been booked and is currently under investigation. What makes this even more disturbing is that Taeil participated in NCT's 8th anniversary in a fan meeting on August 3rd, right after those accusations were made, leading to even more criticism from fans and the public. Although his contract with the agency has now been terminated due to the fact that SM Entertainment would have to pay him for a breach of contract, SM Entertainment has decided to remove him from NCT, and the NCT members have unfollowed him. And some members have also wiped their social media clean of any association with him. This does not make them out to be heroes or people incapable of doing any wrong. Seeing how swiftly they're unfollowing him, it is possible that they were already told before the news was leaked, and SM did. SM also released a statement claiming that they did not try to suppress any information, that although Taeil knew before the 3rd of August, they recently just found out as well. And it also does not mean that they support the victim or anything like that. This is just for PR, and some of them probably are still in cahoots with somebody that they've known for almost 2 decades. This TikTok explains it better.
Some of you are still missing the point. Taeil's a scapegoat, and what that means is that everybody unfollowing him does not mean that they believe the victims. This kind of abuse is systemic. This is under patriarchal systems, this is under capitalistic systems. When we point all the blame and just go, oh, that was you, that was nothing to do with, we have nothing to do with this person, is everybody trying to save themselves. The reality is, under systemic abuse and situations like this, it is tiered. You end up being the way that you are, not just as like an independent person. You have friends that agree and have the same values that contributed to why you think that you're entitled to engage in abuse. You have legal systems that also supplement and support this. This is not an isolated incident. This is like, and I think that's very scary and dangerous about what goes on when we see idols or different celebrities in Korea getting canceled, is they are simply the single scapegoat. When you look at like the whole Burning Sun scandal, there were so many idols that also were involved in that we also don't know about. Actually, there was one, like one of the biggest musicians like internationally, known for his one of those, you know, really catchy songs. He was there. He knew all these guys. You don't think that this guy was actually involved and just so happened that like he was able to get away with it?
Speaking of the Burning Sun scandal, I would like to make it clear that everything I'm seeing right now is alleged. Nothing is 100% a fact, and even if this has multiple sources that can back it up, it's my opinion, okay? It is important to remind you guys that a person like Sangri is walking free today after what was supposed to be a career-ending conviction of a similar situation like Taeil. Even if Taeil walks out of this situation with a not guilty verdict, that does not mean he is innocent. For example, let's take a step back and look at how a similar situation was handled in the industry. Take Lee Jin-wook as an example. He was accused of sexual assault back in 2016. Initially, he was cleared of the charges after the accuser claimed that the allegations were false. However, she later redacted, claiming that the police forced her to drop the charges and insisted that she was actually sexually assaulted by Jin-uk. Jin-uk then sued her for falsely accusing him of sexual assault, which is crazy in my opinion. She was initially declared not guilty of making false accusations that year or a year later. He then filed for an appeal, which led to the original verdict being overturned by the court. The judge who carried out the non guilty verdict did so because Jin Uk did, in fact, have sex with the victim without her consent, and he admitted to not asking for her consent when he had sex with her. However, the second judge that overturned the verdict sentenced her to 8 months in prison, and he did so because although she was willing to tell the truth about her assault, the victim did not have enough evidence to prove that she was actually sexually assaulted. So even if you're telling the truth about your assault in South Korea, you can still face prison time for not having enough evidence of the assault, even if your abuser admitted to it. This is because of how South Korea views rape. Even if a victim says no, they can still not claim that they were sexually assaulted if they did not actively fight their abuser off. So in South Korea, if the assault did not happen in a violent manner, the accused can claim that the victim truly wanted it and those were their internal feelings, which is how Jin Uk managed to get away with it while his victim got 8 months in prison. And this is not the only time it's happened in the Korean entertainment industry. Meet Dia's Samye. She accused her former CEO of raping her, and he got away with it because they were previously in a relationship. And after they broke up, she was being framed as a jealous ex trying to ruin his life, which is disgusting in my opinion because she debuted when she was 17 years old. The power imbalance alone should have been enough evidence in my opinion. And the reason why the CEO got away with it is because when she was leaving the building, a CCTV camera showed her walking normally and not like someone who had been raped. Like, I'm very confused on what that even means because she lost her rape case because she was too composed and she actually did face time. She was sentenced to a year and a couple of months for allegedly falsely accusing her CEO of rape because she was too composed after being raped. That's just insane. However, the public remains divided, and many netizens still believe that Jungkook is guilty. Despite this, he continues to have a successful career, which raises questions about the double standards in the industry. Some actors face backlashes for small or offenses that don't affect other people, like consuming drugs, while other people who have sexually assaulted their co-workers or other people in the industry are allowed to continue having a career and taking on major roles. Jin Uk is about to be on a show. I don't really know the name, but I put the picture, and it's just insane that he's able to get a lead role and work alongside an actress as prestigious as this. Like, he did not lose anything after all of this. South Korea has an incel problem, with it being estimated that most of South Korea's male youths are incels. For example, South Korea has a male population of 26 million. 4.65 million of them are between the ages of 18 to 30, with the most prevalent incel YouTuber having 1.2 million subscribers. It is safe to assume that at least 30% of South Korea's male youth between the ages of 18 and 30 are incels. In 2018, a man known as God operated a network on Telegram where he and others shared sexually exploitative videos of women and minors. Those videos were obtained through blackmail and often involved threats against victims as well. With at least 113 confirmed victims, 26 of them being minors, these videos were sold to over 260,000 users, making this one of the largest cyber sex trafficking cases ever. If you've made it this far into the video, you clearly know what the nth room is. I wondered if it was appropriate to bring it up, but I just couldn't get over the fact that 1 in 5 South Korean men and 220 confirmed K-pop idols were in this group chat. I mean, this could all just be speculation on my part, but I just cannot stress or imagine how Taeil managed to come in contact with this victim. I mean, he was able to get a hold of her phone, install a software that muted her camera so he could have access to her at all times. This is not that different from what victims in the end room had to endure. Again, I don't want to speculate anything, but the only fact right now is that he had access to her camera, and if this is anything like the nth room, I'm just horrified at what he probably had her doing while he was watching through her camera lenses. The nth room case is just the tip of the iceberg. It is part of a broader issue of misogyny and the objectification of women in South Korea. For example, the rise of deepfake technology has exacerbated these issues. In Korea, this has become a significant problem, with many women and even minors falling victim to it. In South Korea, the prevalence of highly sexualized image of women is a significant issue. Don't get me wrong, this problem is not unique to South Korea, but it manifests in specific ways in South Korean society, partly due to the highly connected digital environment and intense pressure surrounding beauty standards. It has gone to the point that multiple petitions were started to get rid of some actresses because their male fans did not feel like they fit South Korean beauty standards. You may think animated characters are immune to this, but that is not the case for games like Horizon Zero Dawn and GTA, where a lot of the female characters face opposition and backlash due to the male audiences in South Korea not finding them attractive enough. This shows that in multiple forms, South Korea has an unhealthy relationship with its women and their bodies, which is why the country has seen a rise in disturbing creations and distribution of deepfake pornography, something middle schoolers in South Korea cannot escape. In South Korea, there's a saying called "My life is not your porn." This is a reaction to a very serious issue like hidden cameras. During the 2010s, hidden cameras were realized to be a serious issue in South Korea by 2017, which led to women protesting for their right to exist in public spaces without being recorded and uploaded or sold for the satisfaction of Korean men. South Korean women were protesting for their right of normal human actions, like using the bathroom without having to worry about being blackmailed by videos that were taken of them without their consent while at the mall or at school or at work. The South Korean government wanted to address this issue by redirecting the perpetrators to correctional units in order to address the core issues. However, they have not addressed issues like the inequality of South Korean society between men and women, which makes South Korean men feel entitled to Korean women. The South Korean government did not have any plan to stop the anonymity that protects people who commit sexual crimes like this. The report of hidden camera crimes has gone up by 29%. However, the prosecution of crimes like this has gone down by 10%. Taeil was only exposed because of his high profile as a celebrity. However, if he was the average Jin in the street of Seoul, this incident would have never been as alarming as it is. It would have never made international news. No one would know what he looks like, which allows him to go back into society without ever having to face the social repercussions that might hold him accountable for the damages he has caused his victims, regardless of how small it is. Women in South Korea always have to pay for crimes like this. For example, a school in South Korea, as a reaction reacting to the recent uprise of deepfake videos targeting little girls, gathered their female students and told them to be more careful. Meanwhile, their male students were playing soccer and enjoying their recess. Even in situations like this where your face could be put on someone else's body without your consent, it is still up to you to be careful and protect yourself, even though someone taking a picture of you when you're not looking already puts you at risk for incidents like this. Being in public spaces like going to school already puts these girls at risk of situations like this. When it is clear that the boys need some more education and to be monitored while using the internet or monitored for the kind of content they're allowed to consume, they were allowed to use their time to do whatever they wanted while the girls were being held accountable and being forced to bear the responsibilities of the crimes that are being committed against them. This is the society South Korea currently operates on. This is the kind of society that enabled Taeil. This is the society that allowed to work free. This is the society that allowed Jin-ik to continue his career without any scratch on his reputation. I am just sad that this is the reality in K-pop in general. It seems like every other week there's someone that's been accused of doing something horrible to women specifically. Even not just women. I also am gonna acknowledge the fact that Taeil and Seungri are people who were very famous, so their cases are a lot more well known compared to other people. Even people in the same group are not safe from situations like this. If you look back enough, you will see multiple cases of people being arrested for the things that they've done to their other teammates, and it's just sad. And I hate that because this is K-pop, it is not being handled properly. I just want to put it out there that you guys should give the victims the space and respect they deserve.